Al B says, if not the Antichrist, then he is an Antichrist. So, yeah, let me read you something about that. That's an interesting entry into this one. So I got this comment. See, I normally take a screenshot and I can use it. So I got this comment. It's interesting. If Trump is the Antichrist, why would he appoint 3 Supreme Court justices to have abortions overturned? Something does not make sense. Okay, so I don't really know where the author of that particular comment's coming from. But the idea being basically, if Trump is the Antichrist, it was on that Antichrist video a few days ago. If Trump is the Antichrist or an Antichrist, why then would he put 3 Supreme Court justices on the bench who would eventually go on to help overturn Roe versus Wade to get rid of the healthcare rights of women? To try to get rid of abortion, to send abortion. Now they're saying to send abortion back to the states. Now, Trump has, depending on who he's speaking to, he will either downplay his role or he will just take all the credit he possibly can. He will squeeze putting those 3 Supreme Court justices in place. He will squeeze all the praise and glory he possibly can from doing that. Who would go on to, because he's, after 50 years, everybody tried, but I was the only one that did it. And anyhow, why would he do that? If he's the Antichrist, why would he do that? Something doesn't make sense. You have to ask yourself about the Antichrist. No, I think we're probably talking the idea that the Antichrist is the one who will eventually bring about Armageddon, right? The one who would come, who would be, who would bring about the mark of the beast, the one that would come, that would bring about all the restrictions and all the pain and all the suffering of the people in this world. That person who sort of plays this almost Satan role. Right? This evil role. This person they're going to do bad, horrible, awful things. And anybody who doesn't get on board with them, they're going to suffer. But here's the thing about that. The Antichrist, that person, yeah, there's going to be a great deal of suffering. For those that don't get in line, there's going to be a great deal of suffering. Absolutely. Yeah, it's written in there. I know the story. It's written in there. But the things that you and I might see as good or evil, they don't see it that way. That's just not part of it. Like the suffering that the Antichrist will bring on, the suffering that the Antichrist will make sure that everybody who doesn't get on board with the Antichrist experiences. The suffering isn't the point. Okay, the suffering is actually a tool. I'm going to make you suffer until you get on board. Because for the Antichrist, the only thing that matters is that we bend the knee to the Antichrist. The only thing that matters to the Antichrist is that we turn away from God, that we turn away from God's teachings, that we turn away from Jesus Christ, and we put our trust, and we put our hope, and we put our faith in the Antichrist. That's all that matters. So all of these things we look at and go, oh, that's evil or that's good. No, the Antichrist sees those as a way to get you on board. It sees those things as a way to get you to turn away from God, because that's the goal. The goal isn't to do evil things. The goal isn't to bring about war. The goal isn't to bring about suffering. The goal isn't to bring about pain. The goal isn't to bring about injustice and inequality. The goal isn't about the goal in its entirety is trying to get us, people, humanity, creation, to bend our knee and to call him Lord. That's it. So if you're thinking, well, why would, if Trump's the Antichrist, why would the Antichrist, work so diligently to get rid of abortion? Because this person might see abortion as is evil. Why would the Antichrist get rid of something that is evil? Because the Antichrist doesn't care about what you perceive to be good or evil. The Antichrist is working diligently to make you follow him. That's why. The Antichrist will give you anything you want. Antichrist will give you anything you want if it will turn you away from Jesus. The Antichrist will give you anything you want if it'll turn you away from God. It will give you anything you want. Anything. I'll give you world peace if you want it. I'll make every nation drop their weapons right now if that means you'll follow me. I'll stop every genocide if that means you will follow me. I'll give you everything your heart ever dreamed about, including the most wonderful, right? The most beautiful, the most innocuous things, the things that, the most admirable things that you could possibly wish for. I'll give those to you if it means you'll follow me instead of following Jesus. Think about Satan, right? Just think about Satan when he tempts Jesus out in the wilderness. What does he offer him? He offers him bread, safety, and power. I will give you all these things if you will just follow me. Right? Shows him all the nations of the world. I'll give every one of them if you just follow me. You want bread? Make some bread. Don't count on God. Count on yourself. You want to be safe? Well, jump off the building. Right? Test God. Count on yourself. Circumvent the situation. You want to bring peace into this world? You want to make this world a better place? You want to end starvation? You want to end the suffering of humanity? I'll give you power over every nation. You'll be able to make every decision. You'll be able to make them all do everything that you want them to do. All those wonderful, beautiful, amazing things that you want them to do, you'll have the ability to do that. You just have to follow me. That's the great temptation. So why would the Antichrist get rid of abortion? To make you follow the Antichrist. To make you follow them. Why would the Antichrist get rid of hunger? To make you follow them. So that you would stop following Jesus. Why would the Antichrist get rid of murder? Why would the Antichrist get rid of slavery? Why would the Antichrist get rid of the most obnoxious and vile and evil things that humans can possibly think about doing to one another? The Antichrist give you anything if it means you'll turn your back on Jesus. Because that's the only thing that matters to the Antichrist. That's why so many people look at him and go, he might be the one. That's why so many people look at this situation, myself included, and say, okay, you got what you wanted. You got rid of that evil thing, that thing that you perceive to be evil. But who are you following now? I see the danger in this. Many people see the danger in this. Okay, you got it. You got the most magnificent possible thing that you could ever imagine. You got rid of the evil of evils. What did it cost you? Look at who you had to follow. Look at who you had to defend. Look at who you had to prop up. Look at who you had to preach to your congregations about. Look at who you gave your money to. Look at who you gave your resources to. Look at who you're giving your love to. Look at who you're giving your critical thinking away for. Don't, like, this is for all of us, right? All of us are going to be tempted in these ways. Just as Jesus was tempted by Satan, all of us are going to be tempted. All of us are going to be tempted by these things. All of us are going to hear that voice one day saying, hey, you know what? I'll give you what you want. You want to get rid of that evil thing? I'll give it to you. But you just got to give up on Christ. You got to give up on following this God character. He won't give it to you. Follow me. I'll give it to you. Because the devil, the Antichrist, they don't see good and bad. They don't see good and evil like you and I perceive good and evil. Their only goal, their raison d'être is to have you worship them instead of worshiping God, instead of following Christ. There is no price. There is no price they are not willing to pay for that. Amen.